people with experience, and this mentorship program is not like any other mentorship program, So I just want to remind you and give you that assurance that you are at the right place and at the right time. So yeah, let me introduce our second guest, Okay. I'm as excited as you guys are because he is an amazing individual and he has done amazing things. So, just from the title itself, I'm sure it's just giving you goosebumps. So, yeah, allow me to introduce to you Msizi Gwala. He's a CASA and he is currently working as the project director at Saica. Wow, just saying that, I'm out of words. So, yeah, he was part of the CA 2025 Competency Framework Working Group. He did his master's in accountancy from the University of KZN, and he has worked as a senior lecturer, and he has worked in the public sector, and he is passionate about people and personal development. He is passionate about learning, and as you know, he is an amazing individual, and he was selected for the Mandela Washington Fellowship, where you get invited to go to the United States to meet the President of the United States, and you interact with leaders from Africa. So this program is quite competitive, and all I can say is we are grateful to have him here. So let me hand over to him. Msizi, thank you so much.
All right. Thank you. Thank you very much for that lovely introduction. It has been an inspiring morning indeed. And I think I'd like to invite everyone to maybe listen to me from an inspirational perspective and not make this about me. But I'm just going to share some of my experiences as a CA, what I've seen and what I've been exposed to. I think I need to put it out there that I will not be able to look at or to talk about everything that I've done. There's quite a lot of things that we get exposed to. But I'll just share some of the highlights and some of the things that may be of interest to everybody on the call, just so that I think, especially at this time, you continue to work and work hard towards making a success of your studies. And just to assure you that it is definitely worth it. So like Enoch has introduced me, my name is Msizi. I'm a project director at Saica. That's my, let's call it full-time job employment. I work in what we call the standards division. And that's basically the division that looks at what is happening in industry, what is coming. Once you guys qualify, we support you from a technical perspective, but also from a thought leadership perspective, advocacy, trying to make sure that you lead in wherever that you go. So whether you are in tax, we support you there. Whether you are overseas, there will be people who are supporting you. So that's basically what I do on a daily. I also do work as a lecturer. I lecture advanced auditing, that's PGDA auditing at a private college, which is Regent Business School. We're currently setting assessments. My students are currently writing actually their last test today and tomorrow. So it's exciting times trying to get the DP. But I do wish you well with the process. I've seen a lot of things, like I said. In fact, maybe let me start by saying I do come from KwaZulu-Natal, which is a province in South Africa, come from a rural area as well, in Cato Ridge, just outside of eThekwini. I was trained at EY in Durban. I think that's probably where you start to get a lot of exposure and experience. I started seeing things I never thought I would see during my training program. I would work for a listed entity, and as a small young boy from a rural area, you start to see things differently. And I think that in itself is great exposure. And I think I qualified, I think in 2012. I can't remember now very well. I qualified in 2012, and then I went on to academia. So I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do. And I think this is why programs like this, are very important, because I was just going with the flow. I wasn't really sure, but I kind of knew I wanted, okay, something that with a bit of purpose, but I wasn't really sure what that would be. So I went into lecturing earlier on. And then I was exposed to academia. I was exposed to a few things. Then I went on to the Auditor General of South Africa, where I got some exposure to the public sector, which I had not really. And I figured that what I wanted to do was something with a purpose. I wanted to make a difference in whatever that I do. So I wanted to use my skills as a CA to really try and make a difference as much as I could. One of the things that I've been exposed to, which for me I think was life changing, was exposure to the CA 2025 program. I think we started working on that competency framework that I'm sure a lot of you will be familiar with in 2016. That that competency framework is, as Saica, trying to redefine, re-engineer the skills and the experiences and the competence that you possess, so that you are work ready, you are future ready. You will understand that there's been a lot of changes that have been happening in the past couple of years throughout the world. Developments from a technology perspective have become such a key issue at defining matter for what is relevant or what is becoming relevant. So I was part of that team that was selected by Saica to work on the competency framework. I was part of the academic working group. Basically, we were part of the people that defined the syllabus that you are going through. And that was quite a nice experience, because it doesn't only end with the syllabus for CAs. So with that experience or exposure, I'm now able to be part of conversations that talk about the future world of work for everybody. So throughout South Africa, throughout the world, what is happening, what is coming, because I've gained that experience from my exposure at Saica, discussing the competency framework for accountants. Now I can contribute to what is coming and the challenges that South Africa face today from an employment perspective, but also that is coming up in the near future, having, I think we can safely say, a lot of, it's not just South Africa, a lot of countries, especially in the African continent, are lagging behind from a skills perspective that will be useful or for the future. So that was great experience. It gives you nice perspective in terms of what's coming. And I think from having worked on that project, that's how I started then. Then I got a job at Saica. And then I also I've worked on a few projects with Saica. One of the ones that I've enjoyed working on is what we call CA of the Future. That also again looks at now what the CAs are going to be doing going forward, which you'll understand that the role profile of a CA has always been complicated, but it was mostly focused on the technical aspects of our work, which is your tax, cost accounting, management accounting, auditing, assurance, etc. But now it's more towards creating value. How do we create value in the organizations that we serve, the people that we serve? And it's become so much broader. It's more advisory focused. It really is about the creation of sustainable value. So that's what I've been exposed to. I've also marked ITC for a couple of years. I stopped. I got tired of it a couple of years ago, but that's a nice experience to really understand the assessment process, because I'd worked in academia for a few years. So I thought it would be nice to understand how the marking of the ITC works. One other project that other than CA of the Future that we are currently working on, and this is just to show you the power of the qualification and the kinds of exposures that you get. We're currently working on a project with GIZ. GIZ is a development agency of the German government, as well as what is called the Center for the Fourth Industrial Revolution in South Africa, which is an outcome of the Presidential Commission on 4IR. And we're working on an AI maturity assessment framework for South Africa that is really going to assess how ready are we as a country for AI, specifically given the developments that have happened over, I think, the past 12 months specifically. So we're looking at creating something that South Africa can use to measure our readiness. Those are the kinds of things. And if you think about where you are now, maybe for you guys it might be different because you may have a bit more exposure to tech than what we would have. We did, I think, what was called management information systems, which was really just something that was on the side until you saw that monster of a question in auditing that has all these automated controls and etc. that you needed to work through. But other than that, we really didn't have a lot of experience or exposure to technology. But today, because of the power of our brand as a CA, you are able to be part of the people that shape things like AI and how it's going to be adopted in the country. I've worked a lot with people. I've interacted. I think I was in academia for 5 years, and so I have a lot of CAs that are looking around out there. Many of them across the world, in Australia, in the United Kingdom. Excuse me. But I think I've also worked with people that are not necessarily CAs, people that are not CAs by training, or people who have not qualified yet or are still in the process. And I think that has probably been one of the greatest experiences for me, interacting with people. And that's why I'm looking forward to interacting with everyone here, or the people that I'll be mentoring as well, because I think that's really just a good thing that to do, that I enjoy spending time on. So it's always nice to get a text, or sometimes I go to a conference and I speak, and there'll be someone that I do not know, honestly. They come to me and say, hey, you taught me this year, and this is what you taught me, and I hated you, but now I like you. So that's always fun to experience. But hopefully here, because I'm not setting anyone's assessment, you will all like me and no one will hate me. I do like setting quite challenging assessments. I'm looking forward to this weekend's feedback, because there's some horrible stuff there. Challenging, not impossible. I think one of the highlights of my career, though, without a doubt, has been my experience with the Mandela Washington Fellowship of 2017. And that came about really because of my experience, my exposure to the work in the public sector. And that became somewhat of a mini passion of mine, because if you look around, whether you are here or in Namibia, if you look around from a public sector perspective, we've got all these brilliant skills that we can really use to change the world. But there's a lot of challenges that are being experienced in the sector. And so my exposure to the Auditor General helped me understand the public sector better. And I started looking at how, excuse me, we could make a difference in that space. And because of the work that we did there, then I was selected for that very competitive fellowship. I was in the States for about, I think, 6 weeks, networking, creating relationships, and meeting, I think it was Obama back in the day. And it was really a nice experience. I think one of the most important things for me personally, and I think when you talk to most of the people that experience that program, it's great to network with people in the States, and you understand how they run their things, and how the kinds of privileges and opportunities that they have. But I think the most important one was networking with other leaders that came from other parts of the African continent. That was, I think, probably the best takeaway that we could get from that, and really trying to forge relationships and experiences and sharing amongst ourselves. It was a great experience. And the nice thing with that program as well is that they continue to support you. They continue to create opportunities for networking and for you to really do what you aspire to do. I think that's probably what I wanted to share this morning. And I see it's just hit 12, and I know we might need to end at some point, but I think without a doubt, you have chosen the right career path, you have chosen the right profession, and you have chosen the right professional body to take you forward, because I have seen that this qualification can really transform your life. Sometimes I don't do it as often as I used to probably before, but sometimes I sit and I try to reconcile my life to about 15 years ago. I cannot even see how this again young boy from rural KZN somewhere has managed to achieve some of the things that I've managed to achieve, and but also sit in some of these circles and tables and discuss all these things that affect South Africa and the profession and the future. You know, and it's all just really because I decided to go to a BCom accounting at UNISA, and then I went on to UCT and did a PGDA, and then I went on to EY and did my articles, and then I'm able to do all of these kinds of things. So I'm hoping that I'll be interacting with some of you at least over in the next, I think, few months or a couple of weeks until you write your assessments. Please do reach out to us, talk to us. We are all busy. You are busy with your studies. We are all busy, but I think we've made time to be here with you. Please make use of it. I can assure you that you will only stand to benefit. We are here to help you, and we are your support system. Sometimes you just need someone to just tell, hey, the speaker earlier was saying, I got 20, and I can tell you I never passed accounting until I saw my final mark, and that's just part of life. It happens. And I can tell you, I've been in academia probably for about total of more than 7 years now. So I have a good understanding of what happens, and really until the fat lady sings, it's not over. So good luck, and I'm looking forward to engaging with some of you guys. Thank you, Enoch.
Wow. Okay, that was very short. We needed like 2 hours. But
Yeah,
yeah,
no, I tried to keep to time. I could go on.
who, who would love that? Who would definitely love that. So yeah, first to mentees, I told you that you're at the right place and we have amazing people. And yeah, this is just a testament of what just happened. We have got this amazing and brilliant individual right here, the project director at Saica. So you can just imagine, the things that, has been able to achieve with the qualification that you guys are pursuing. So if you are considering changing because you saw your marks, I'm sure this should inspire you to continue. And yeah, just remember that your dreams are valid, and we have such amazing people who are here to support you and give you guidance, to give you mentorship. So yeah, and you can tell that these individuals are successful and humble at the same time, because I'm sure if that was me, I would have been bragging wherever I go, that I went to US and all of those things. So yeah, we are really grateful for your time, and we appreciate your humility, and also we appreciate and look